This is my first model of my own craft knife that I've manufactured. This is a slightly large model, and the design of the model is kind of unusual, however original at the same time. I've made the top bit like this, so this part is slanted so that the index finger fits nicely. It's a large design, so it's sustainable and it fits all around inside the palm. These bits are lumpy so that they fit the average hand so that your palm rests nicely. For the other three fingers, there's curves at the bottom so that they don't get uncomfortable or slip. That's why these bits are here. And this is a slider. I made it large so that it's easy to maneuver. Go like this, it comes out. Go like that, it goes back in. That is my first model. Now I'm going to ask Will if he can tell me anything about the model.
Okay.
So overall, what do you think of my first model?
I quite like this model because when I hold it, I think the curve at the top would fit nice in with my thumb or with my finger as well. And I think the curves at the bottom are nice for my other 3 fingers or 4 fingers to rest on. And I like how it's angled like this so that it covers the top of the blade in case my thumb would slip, so I wouldn't cut myself on it.
Is there anything you think I could develop this further or improve on?
I think maybe reshape the curves at the bottom a bit so it would fit my fingers a little bit better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Time for my next model. This is my second model here. It's a bit of a it's much smaller compared to the large model right here. And it's a different shape. So I've made it a bit smaller so that it's lighter. It's more easy to maneuver when cutting delicate, precise objects. And instead of a rough curve, I made a smooth curve so that there's no irritation when holding the blade. Instead of the top bit of the blade, the top bit of the product going upwards, I made it downwards. So there's no discomfort when your fingers are like this, it's down. These bits, I've took into account the bottom 3 fingers much more. And I've made this bit curved so that I could place these 2 fingers here, this finger here. And for the larger hands, you might need to put your finger here so that there's no hazards such as slipping such as the craft knife slipping, so your middle finger can go here, it's less likely to move. And again, I've done the same design, put the slider here so it's easy to move. Now I'm going to ask questions to Will, see what he thinks about the design. So overall, what do you think about this new design?
I think this part here works very well with your palm and it fits nicely in this space here, and I think that the curves at the bottom suit my fingers really well, especially these 2 here. And I think for me, if I was using it like this with my thumb at the top, my index finger can rest nicely in this area. But if I was using it like this, I could also rest like my middle finger there as well when I'm using it.
How is it compared to the first design?
I think because it's thinner, you can be more precise with it when you're cutting stuff, and I think it's angled down a bit more, which means you can probably cut things like at different angles than you could with that one.
Is there anything you think I could develop this further or improve on?
I think maybe add some grips on the side of the model, maybe if you wanted to add a bit more comfort to it.
Okay, thank you. And this is my third and final model. Here, I've took Will's advice and I've added some grip just for the top so that your finger is less likely to slip. There's more grip and stability when cutting the material. with the blade is longer, so you don't have to get too close. You can just stand further away, so it reduces hazards and injury, even if it's just a little bit. The slider is much larger, so that it will be more easier for larger thumbs to go in and out with the blade. I've kept the curved edge, the curved bottom, but instead of it being steep like this, with your thumbs all day here, I put them here so your fingers align. So it's kind of like a one movement you can do here, one diagonal movement, no slipping, no moving. And if I was to make this in real life, these blades here, I forgot to mention, would have been made by stainless steel. But this, to improve the hardness and the quality and the sharpness and durability of the product, I'll make it out of carbon steel, as the extra carbon adds extra strength and sharpness. Now I'm gonna ask Will what he thinks of my final design. What do you think overall of this final design compared to the others as well?
I think the grip at the top works very well because it feels much nicer in my hand when I'm using it, and the slider at the side is in a very good place to be able to move my thumb across, and I think the curve at the bottom as well, I think you've kept it in there because it works nice in my palm.
Is there anything you think I could develop this product further?
I think maybe the angle, the size of the blade might be a bit hazardous to some users, but I think this model could work very well in like a building site or something like that. Something where you don't have to be too like careful about what you're doing. Whereas in an office or like in a classroom, the blade could be a bit hazardous.
So, it's time for, these are all my 3 designs. Which one overall would you prefer to use, and where would you use them?
I think overall, well, there's sort of like a combination of like all of them. I like this one's grip. I like the grip at the top. However, I like the angle of this one's blade, and I like the way that this one has the like curved bit at the top as well. So overall, I think this one is the best because of the way it fits in my palm, and you'll probably use it in a office or classroom, maybe in a building site as well.
Okay, thank you.